I want to read the definition of a neighborhood center. You're going to hear me refer to this many times, and I want you to be clear what I'm talking about. Because, again, we think when I say neighborhood center, we think buildings. And say it doesn't have to be a building. Say that out loud. Okay. As a matter of fact, throughout history, in most cases, it's not the building of one that you call a neighborhood center. It's often in a building. Sometimes it's not. Many times throughout history, they've been just out in the field somewhere in some agricultural location. They've been in mines where coal miners had meetings. There's lots of places to have a meeting, but they're a center for a neighborhood or a group of people. Let's read it. A neighborhood center is a ministry location within a small community, i.e. group of homes or home, a school, business, etc., that becomes a hub for discipling and growth. These must be viral. Now that term is usually applied to something negative where disease is spreading through a culture. But we want the gospel, we want the knowledge of Christ, the kingdom of God to be viral. How many want that to be viral? Right? So that's what we're talking about. So it multiplies quickly through new locations. The idea that we would just have a Bible study like an affinity group and that nobody else would join it, it wouldn't multiply, it wouldn't spread, nobody would come to Christ, it wouldn't move through the community, is not what Jesus had in mind. We have all kinds of affinity groups today in Christianity, but those are self-serving. They're not negative, they're beneficial to some measure, but they're not really what we're talking about here. We say neighborhood center. I am not suggesting that you get your friends together from your church and you meet in a little huddle somewhere and that you have good little cookies and you have coffee every week. This is about taking your community. It's about spreading the gospel. It's about spreading the kingdom of God. So I want to be very clear on the front end about that, because we have paradigms in many cases that are not what we're saying. This is really what we read about in the book of Acts, which we're going to refer to many times.